Hello, good morning. Welcome at the annual meeting of the DNAGOA Group. Thank you very much for sharing, for being here so early this morning. Today is also the voting. It will be after the presentation. Today I will go quickly or relatively quickly to the presentation, as we presented all our financial results already in February. And there are, compared to the preliminary result, no significant changes or whatsoever. So today I will go briefly through it. After that, I will give you a small update on the ongoing projects and investments announced at the beginning of this year, and to give a small outlook for the coming period. And then after, the voting will take place offline. Also, I would like to remind you that the meeting is recorded. Normally, we always have translation, but because of the presentation already during the preliminary results, etc., we decided today to do it only in English. Also, there are some questions asked already. I will answer them at the end of the presentation. If there are more questions, you can ask them in the chat, and also when the presentation is finalized, I will go into them. Also, Gabriel Tico is present, our CFO, as well as our CEO, Jan de Boer. So let's start. So last year we produced almost approx 63 million liters, and our clear target, as we told you many times already, is in 2028 to produce over 100 million liters of milk. Also, this year we started the Straße project. Since March we are producing milk there, and our goal is to produce by the end of this year over 70 million liters of milk. And in case we succeed, then we are also the largest milk producer in the EU, including the UK. As we go today, as we see the Appold farm, there are significant increase compared to previous year in number of animals. That's mainly due to the fact that the majority of the animals are that need to occupy and populate the Straße farm. Currently at the Straße farm we have 900 dairy cows, and we are gradually increasing, as we will see later in the presentation as well. Our goal is to reach at minimum 1,800 dairy cows by the end of this year. In 2 or 3 weeks, we will present our strategy to 2030. I know we mentioned end of April. It's a little bit delayed because we need to, for some of our new projects, we need some additional information, and that should come available in the coming weeks. And we would like to integrate that in the presentation for the strategy till 2030. As I said, at the moment 900 cows in Straße. We will gradually increase it. As I said, at minimum 1,800, but as far as we can oversee now, we are quite confident that we probably could add several hundreds of dairy cows more in the Straße farm. Although it's of course early in the year, but if things go as planned, as we see it now, we see maybe 2,000 or 2,300 dairy cows by the end of this year. The Koet farm is stable. The Lacto Agraar farm is stable. Growth currently mainly needs to come, if we look to the left of our screen, to the Appold farm. There everything is now in place to reach production of 100,000 liters per day. So there is still space for growth, and we expect at least this year to make a significant step to come closer to this 100,000 liters of production per day. Then we go quickly to the results. As I said already, they are presented since February. We had a 16% increase of our turnover, 40% in our net profit, reaching almost 32 million lei, and also an EBITDA of 70 million. We said already, okay, what were the main consequences or influences for the results? Of course, we had a small increase average of milk price. We had 40% increase of milk deliveries. Also, we had quite a significant increase in depreciation that will continue also in the coming years, especially that because we are constant constructing new projects. So we will see a further increase there in the coming years as well. Now here, as said, here you can see that we have so far every year quite a significant growth, especially if we look to the turnover that was for some years quite stable. Also for 2024, we estimated around 150 million, but as we said, we expected a decline in 2024 of the milk price in the end, especially in Q1 2024. We had a 20% lower milk price, but has recovered really well. And by the end, we had over 2% higher milk price we received in 2024. As I said, the 14% increase of milk deliveries. No, and we'll skip those sheets for now. Here, the 14%, as I said, yeah, on average 5 million liters. This year, we expect to come, yeah, close to an average of 6 million liters. Here we see also in Q1 this year so far, we had every month higher milk production compared to the previous year. Of course, we saw also last year, as we had the boom in December, January, February, and March, where a lot of cows needed to calve, and we had a significant increase in milk. So they were in the beginning of the year, they were quite competitive, but for the whole year, we estimate a milk production growth of approx 10%. And currently we are already on 7%. And especially in the summer months, if you remember last year, from June, July, August, September, we had quite a decrease in milk deliveries, mainly due to the fact of the heat wave that we reached as well. Of course, that had influence as our milk price. We have a fixed milk price plus a bonus for fat and protein. And due to this heat wave, also the bonus in some months was affected in this regard. That was quite long. Normally, we have this 2 or 3 months. This time it took almost 5 months, the effect. So also we expect, but okay, it's hard to predict, of course, the weather. But in case this was an extreme example, we should have a less effect here this year. Okay, now, yeah, sustainable agriculture. We have presented this quite sometimes. Last year we did already minimum till. Last year we started to implement the no-till technology. And to give you some examples, for example, for the operation for seeding corn and preparing the land, we went from 4 operations to 1 operations, which means a reduction of 48% of those costs, of those input costs. And no-till means with the machine that we have invested in, that we can do simultaneously seeding and fertilizing the soil. Also, this helps to preserve the water content in the soil, which you put less pressure on the soil. And for the wheat, we went from 3 operations to 1 operations with simultaneously seeding and simultaneously fertilizing, and there we reached a reduction of 38%. We started with some hectares last year. The benefits will be seen this year, as they are part from the agricultural year of this year. So this will be seen this year in the production of the food cost. The drone we use, of course, for precision agriculture, the manure pipe that we have at the moment. We have 8 kilometers of manure pipe that we can hand in the lagoon. As I mentioned before, we have in the past we could do with one tractor 14 hectares. Up to today, we can do almost 45 hectares with one tractor. We expect, and our intention is to further invest in this technology in the coming years. In our strategy, we will present that we almost will open every year a new lagoon, and those lagoons they will be located strategically in the fields where we can where the manure after it comes out of the digestate, after it comes out of the biogas plant, we will storage it in the fields, in those lagoons, and from there you can just hand in the pipe, let's say, and one tractor can do a significant part of all the fields that fertilize a significant part of the fields that are all around, and with that we further reduce chemical fertilizer and transportation costs. If we look to the cereal production, although nationwide it was quite a hard year, we had quite a good year with sufficient rainfall on the right moments. We had a 39% increase in triticale and 24% in corn. This year, in the beginning of this year, we had a lack of sufficient rainfall. Slowly on, it goes better. At least the triticale looks quite okay on average. We have still less rain than we had last year. If we look to the European milk market, of course, we saw a decrease in the beginning of this year. If you look to the red line with the dots, that's the spot market. So the market where farmers who don't have a contract with a processor sell their milk. But we see that it stabilized currently. We expect that it more or less remains on this level in the coming months. And what we hear from the processors is that they expect higher milk prices again, let's say from September onwards. And as far as we can oversee so far, there could be quite a chance that the average milk price of this year will be higher than last year. But of course, it is early. As we also saw last year, the milk price is quite volatile. It can differ from quarter to quarter, up to 20%. So that needs to be seen. But so far, the things look quite good, especially what we will come later to that. If you look to Q1, in the first quarter, we received over 20% higher milk price compared to the previous year, and the decline is relatively minimal. If we also look, if you look to the other red line, we are still significantly higher than the line from 2024. We see on the right side of the slide the milk prices as of this is of February. We see that Romania stays a bit behind, together with Bulgaria. Poland receives significantly the highest milk price. That's even higher than the EU average. Collected of milk, we see there's significantly more milk collected so far in the beginning of this year in Romania. Then we go to the projects. I see. Here we have first the budget but I mentioned already the financials. What we expect this year is a growth. We expect a growth of 20% in net profit. We also expect a growth for the EBITDA of 25%, as well as the turnover 20% increase. And in the turnover, we estimate, of course, a 10% increase in milk. The budget is estimated based on the average milk price of the previous year. As I said, in Q1 so far, that price is significantly higher, as well in Q2. That's higher as well. But we will remain so far to the budget. And we will see when we present the half-year figures, that is end of August. We will see if we need to do an update to the budget or not. So as I said, in the budget is a 10% increase of milk based on the average price of the previous year, as well 3,500 tons of organic fertilizer that will be sold outside of the group. That is the product that comes out of our compost factory. This year we expect that we have a capacity of 7,000 tons, but currently we are testing our products. We use the fertilizer already on our own soil. And we expect that we have the certification ready for the second part of this year, and then we will sell approximately 3,000. Our goal is at least to sell 3,500 tons outside of the group, and that's included in the financials as well. Here is again the budget. This can all be found in the online, of course, on our website and the reports. So if we go to the Stragia project, we had some delays, of course. Our goal was first to start last year in September, but due to heavy rainfall and some issues with the constructor, the process was delayed. But now we are on full schedule. We decided to start the milk process in March because the subvention calculation runs from March to March. So in the first year, the registration date is set. So in Romania, you receive for a number of animals and number of liters of milk produced a subsidy. This means that everything of the number of animals that we reach by next year, March, and the liters produced from March this year up to March next year, that will, from the year after, so from 2026, that will be the reference from where we will receive the subsidies and how the subsidies will be allocated. So, of course, it is our goal to populate the farm as high as possible to perform better on this subsidy indicator. With the liters of milk, of course, as well there, but of course it's a bit harder than just to populate a farm. That's more relatively easier. By the end of the day, in 2027, we expect 5,000 dairy cows, 4,000. In the end, we expect 5,000 dairy cows. We always mention 4,000, but we expect that we could increase a bit more there. It's financed by Exim Bank and 20% own contribution. As I said already, by the end of this year, at minimum, we expect 1,800 heads. But at the moment, we are quite confident that we could further increase it to, let's say, between 2,000 and 2,300 animals. The second milking rotor is also almost finalized. We expect by the end of this month. So then the two milking pillars are finalized. The robots will be installed also afterwards. They are not installed yet, but that will also happen in the coming months. Here are some pictures. Then we go to the compost factory. Last year, in December, the first compost factory came operational. This year, we now announced an investment of 1.8 million euros to invest in the Lacto Agrar farm. We obtained financing through ING, which was approved by the shareholders. So from next year, we will have a production capacity of 14,000 tons. We expect also in Lacto Agrar by the end of the year that the compost factory should be operational. And we will gradually increase but also next year there we need to start up the process, certification, etc. So that takes some time, but we will gradually increase every year in the coming years the sales outside of the group, where we will the year after we expect approximately 10,000 tons, and the year after 12,000 tons to sell outside of the group. And there's a big chance that we will announce in our strategy, let's say, an expansion of production facilities in this regards. Also, we started as part of the fertilizing project. We will also receive in 1.5 years voluntary carbon certificates. We expect for one plant to receive approx 16,000 certificates. At the moment, they have a value around 20 euros on the market, but we see developments by the European Commission that they would like to include also the voluntary certificates to the European trading system, ETS. It's a kind of stock exchange where you can trade those certificates. And that would significantly increase the value of those certificates, as well as they will be accredited by a gold standard. And through gold standard, we could sell the certificates not only in Romania, but for example also in Germany or Japan and several other markets. As I said, per plant, we expect to receive approximately 16,000 certificates. We started the certification process, which takes 2 years, which is an investment of 180,000 euros. We succeeded to negotiate to add the second Lacto plant into this project, which means we don't have another investment of 180,000 euros, only a single time. This certification is for 5 years, and that you can extend 2 times with 5 years. So in the end, this certification process and receiving those certificates will be 15 years. Then a small update regarding the biomethane production. I expect soon that we will announce the signing of the development agreement, as well as the supply agreement that are based on the collaboration agreement signed last year. We started, all the land is more or less acquired for this project, and now we will start with the pools and with the building permits and these kind of things. And we expect that this will be all finalized by the end of this year or latest beginning of next year. And then if injection into the grid is, let's say, there is a clear trajectory by injection into the grid, as well is by trading certificates of origin outside of Romania, the construction could start next year. And in the strategy that we will present in the coming weeks, there we will also have the new scenarios up to 2030. And there you will find that so far we expect that the plant will become operational in the second part of 2027. Or latest in 2028, but there also the scenarios will be built on that. It's a 15-year contract with a value reaching 50 million euros. We expect a revenue between 3 and 3.5 million euros. Our contribution so far is just providing the feedstock, and we need, of course, to handle the transport. And the manure will go into this plant. And when it comes out, we will pick it up and we will bring it, as I said, to the Los lagoons, mainly in the fields where we produce our food for the animals. Also, with this, we reduce heavily our emissions. We expect to reduce emissions by almost 90% in this through this project. Then our current strategy till 2028 is 300,000 liters of milk per day on 4 production farms and 1 young stock farm. Then we will have a herd of approx 20,000 dairy cows, and the projects I mentioned just. So the farms will look in 2027 or 2028 like this: 6,000 cattle in Apold farm, 100,000 liters per day. Strasia farm, 5,000 dairy cattle, 100,000 liters per day. The Lacto Agrar and the Koet farm, as I mentioned also during earlier calls, they are fully occupied, so there is not much room to grow. So that's more or less it. The certification I mentioned already. Also for because we now use the no-till and minimum till technology, we will also receive on the hectares where we use this technology carbon certificates. Although those numbers are significantly smaller than what we will receive from the compost plant. This we talked already about it during previous calls. The vertical farm for wheatgrass production, the analyzed phase is almost concluded. I think in 1 or 2 months we will take a decision in this regard, where we could replace our rapeseed that we import generally from Hungary, although currently due to the disease that's going around in some European countries, we mainly import it. We don't import it, but we purchase it from the Romanian market. That we could replace as well. We could replace a part of the lucerne of the aflala. Also, it doesn't need herbicides, pesticides, 90% less water. And we do currently an analyzer for a production facility of 20 to 40 tons per day. Next to that, it has reductions, because the only complex part, of course, is the electricity consumption, but we expect to solve this issue due to solar panels. Next to the reduction, that you need less machinery, etc. You have less input cost. Also, the quality of the project of the product will be different. Of course, it will be every day fresh. It gives a constant protein level, so it should also increase milk production per cow. As in America, there are examples where farmers replaced between 20 and 25 of their feedstock by the production of wheatgrass. And there they saw 2 things, mainly increase in milk production, because it is fresh and a constant quality, which of course a conventional crop differs all the time. And next to that, also that they are earlier satisfied. So also the tons that you need to feed for per cow will reduce, let's say. So that is also a cost optimization there. As I said, okay, the new compost and the solar panels. The solar panels, we are working on it, so it's also approved this year. We will have 60% financing through the PNRR funds. Investment of 1.7 million euros. In the coming weeks, the installation will start, and every month there should be done 1 farm. So we expect May, June, and July that the Lacto farm, Apold farm, and Koet farm will be populated with those solar or photovoltaic panels, as well as the batteries. We expect that they will be installed in August. There was also a question in this regard, and I can let me quick get the information. I can in regard how much we will save. So I just checked it. For so far, if the legislation remains into force how it was announced, we expect, or we will budget on a 80% savings of electricity cost per farm. That will mean if we just from a consolidated, let's say, point of view, per farm, a reduction of we will save approx 10,000 euros per month per farm. Of course, Apold and Lacto are significantly higher consumers than the Koet farm, but let's say if we take the average, it's approx 10,000 euros per farm. So that's almost, in 5 years, was the question, 2.5 million euros what we would save. Then if we look to Q1, as I said, in Q1 we saw a significant, although we saw a decline at the beginning of this year, we received over 20% higher milk price compared to the average milk price compared to the previous year. Also, we know already our price for May, and today, by the end of today, we will also know our price for June. But in May it goes up. We expect that in June it will go down a little bit for what we see the trend in Europe. But so far, it must be, yeah, it's quite clear that also in Q2 we will have a higher milk price than in 2024. The green line is 2024, the purple one is 2025. So you could see so far we are quite significant above this above the price of 2024. Yes, okay. As I mentioned, our goal was to present before the end of April our strategy 2030. It's almost finalized. We just wait for some additional information to be included, and also to answer, and some additional statistics to answer your questions. The strategy will exist of course, a continuation of current business lines and probably expansions, but also diversifications and adding, integrating new business lines, as well as that we will look how we could valorize products that we are currently producing, how we could, add more value to those products. So, it, as well as, of course, sustainability will be a part as well. Also, there will be a strategy outlined regarding the upgrade to the main market, how we see that, as well as how we see the future of dividends, etc., in DNAGAR, and when do we expect. When it is a suitable moment, let's say, to also start to pay dividends. So there will be a lot of information, and I think at least from our side, we think we will have it will be quite a big announcement, and it will be quite an ambitious strategy, especially for 5 years, with a lot of new investments and significant growth. At least that's what we expect, and we of course are really curious to your opinion as well. In September we will have a Investors Day, and now the strategy will be more presented in a presentation document, but especially throughout the Investors Day, a big part will be occupied by the strategy, and we will go through all the projects and discuss with all the participants to that day. So we really hope and encourage you to join us that day. And our goal is, if the disease, the mouth claw disease from in the dairy sector is over, we would like to hold the event at the Stragia farm this year. Also, our farms at the moment are closed. Everything gets disinfected, so every truck that enters our farms get disinfected, every car as well. Our employees need to follow procedures. We try to limit intercourse between the farm, and employees should stick to their own farm inside the group. In Germany, the disease, Germany is clean, let's say, of the disease. Still, Slovakia and Hungary, there are still outbreaks, especially in Hungary. Just, I think, last week, there was another outbreak, 30 kilometers from a previous outbreak. So we still need to be really careful, because, of course, it could have a significant impact. But we took, as I said, all measurements in place, as our farms are completely closed off, and we don't allow any unnecessary visits to the farm. The future events, we have the 29th of April, that's today. So 22nd of May, we have our first Q1 results. In the coming weeks, we have also our ESG report publication. 26th of May, Q1 results teleconference. And in May, we have the strategy presentation as well. There was another question that I haven't answered. Let me haven't answered regarding the upgrade to the main market, concerning the valuation of the DNAGAR stock. Yeah, of course, the valuation is to our concern, although we don't perform less necessarily than other companies on the aero market. But it's clear due to all the unrest and the political climate currently, that although we have significant growth results, that we don't benefit from that on the capital market. So far, we still think that the most suitable way, because of the discussions we had with the pension fund and institutional investors, that the company needs to have a higher valuation, that we need to grow, that we need to take a few more steps to grow to a larger extent. So our goal remains, so far, I would say, probably in 2-3 years, to do the upgrade to the main market. The IFRS implementation is almost finalized, and we would see. Maybe we will start to publish already in IFRS in the second part of this year, or at latest from next year on. But of course, it leads to concern, and we will follow it seriously this year. And if it turns out that we need to, change our strategy to that, as a company, we will be ready from next year to do the upgrade, so that we could do. But so far we don't. So far, we haven't decided yet to change this approach to do the upgrade in 2-3 years. I think I answered all the questions previously asked.
Yes, and we have few questions that we received now during the discussion. So the first question is like this. From what I remember, the subsidies for cows were last updated to the number of cows from 2018 through the PNRR. Are there any discussions to change the reference year again?
No, so far there aren't any discussions to change this date. We also saw the last couple of years a constant, because we grow all the time in number of animals. So we saw, of course, relatively, that we see every year we will see a decrease of number of animals that are eligible to the subsidies. Now we will see a small correction, of course, because we will add from next year on the Strasia farm. But no, we don't see any changes. Also, take in consideration that last time it took also approximately 10 years to change this. But at least before 2027, we don't expect any changes in this regard.
Thank you. The next question is regarding the subsidy for Russia-Ukraine aggression support that was suspended for 2024. And the question is, did the decision remain final, or it will be resumed this year? So the subsidy.
No, we expect that it remains final.
Thank you. And another question, it's regarding the implementation of a yearly buyback program for cancellation to reward long-term investors and respectively to provide liquidity, if you are considering implementing such a program.
Yes, we consider all types, especially as we said regarding the dividend, as I just mentioned, that we will announce in the strategy. This could be a solution, let's say, to do that earlier. Although we also we have an ambitious growth strategy, let's say, so mainly we need to allocate our budget there. But this could be a thing, or to give free shares, let's say. That could be another thing that we could do before we reach that next state. But it is constantly what we are reviewing, and there will be one chapter in the strategy where we will explain our way of thinking, let's say, in this regards.
Thank you. These were all the questions up until now. Are there any other questions from the attendees? You can write them in the Q&A section or directly in chat. Or if it is the case, you can write, of course, to the DNA Agrar team afterwards if there are further questions. No more questions.
Okay. Now that's very good. So yeah, as I said, in September we have our Investors Day. So there we will discuss every chapter of the strategy with also some financials, etc. With our investor community. So we highly recommend to attend that day. As well as in May, of course, we will also present the strategy throughout the call, etc. First, you will receive the strategy, so you can read it, and so you can also really then ask questions, of course. Yes, I think that's for now. As I said, so far the year looks quite okay. A Q1 20% increase, I said, of the milk price. Okay, it needs to be said, because of the cancellation of the agricultural facility that we had, also just because of that facility, we have an increase of 15% salary cost. But still, as we also saw now in Q2, that also the milk price will be quite significantly higher than compared to Q2 last year. That things go quite well so far. So then, thank you very much for being here today with us, and I wish you a wonderful day and start of the week. And then we see each other, as far as I can see now, for sure, the 26th of May, during the presentation of the Q1 results.